How's everybody doing today? So, I want to address a topic that comes up sometimes in conversation. And it's this. I come across people that say social media doesn't work for them, or the marketing aspect doesn't work for them, or they're not, the engagement that they don't get on their business page doesn't do anything for them. So there's a few things that come into play. One, you haven't found your voice, right? Every company, every restaurant has a voice. They have a specific type of customer that relates to them, okay? That relates to the food that they serve and the service that they provide. Now you have some types of restaurants that appeal to much broader audience, and then you have other types of restaurants that are really niched down. There are like some restaurants that, just because it's very spicy food, it's going to appeal to a certain type of person. You have the ones that appeal to the most, the broadest, are like pizza joints, burger joints, and Mexican. Those appeal to the biggest variety of people. And there might be another one out there somewhere, but those are the most common to appeal to the biggest audiences. A problem that I see with some people's messages, or actually with their page, right? They hired somebody to help them get followers, right? And so what that person did is they created an ad or something that appealed to not only too broad of a range of people, but also people that don't even live anywhere near them. Okay? When a restaurant has 20,000 followers and there's only 20,000 people in their like neighborhood, that is way too many people that have following you. Most of those people are never going to come to your restaurant. So, except, now the exception to that is if you live in an area like New Orleans that has a lot of tourists, like 18 million tourists a year come to New Orleans. So you're going to have a huge part of your audience that are not local. And that's okay, because when they come into town, you still want them to come and see you. But when you live on the North Shore, like I do, Covington, Mandeville, Hammond, Ponchatoula, Slidell, the North Shore, you shouldn't have 20,000 followers. I actually think if you have 10 or even close to 10, you have a lot of followers that are nowhere near you. And that's okay. You just need to know that you're only going to have a certain amount of engagement. Now, the other things that come into play is your messaging. Like, what does your audience actually want to see and hear? I see, and then consistency. So I see some restaurants, they barely post anything, if anything at all. So naturally, they're not going to get any engagement when they do finally post something, because people aren't used to seeing anything from them. Also, if they're barely posting, they don't have enough experience with their audience to know what to post. Okay, so that's another aspect, right? Another thing that comes into play, let me see. We got consistency, the following, and there was something else I had to note down. So just the audience itself. So some restaurants appeal to a younger audience, some to an older audience, and some to, you know, a middle audience. And by middle age, I actually don't mean middle age. There's just a certain demographic that you're going to appeal to. You know, especially like, you know, when you get into late night places like nightclubs, that's definitely going to be a certain type of person that goes to a nightclub, and generally younger. You do get some older dudes or chicks that go to nightclubs, but generally it's younger. I'm actually heading to Creole Tomato right now. I think they probably appeal to a pretty broad range, you know, because it's like New Orleans type cooking, I guess. Tomorrow I'm going to a po' boy shop. That should appeal to a very wide range of people. But just say I was going to a sushi place. That narrows it down. Okay, you're not going to get... Now, I'm going to say you're not going to get engagement, but here's the thing. If you build the following the right way, and you're targeting and you're calling out the right people, well, then the right people will start following you, and then you'll have the right engagement. I hope that makes sense. I just kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit. There's a lot of different ways this conversation can go. And since I'm not seeing any feedback right this second, it's hard for me to take it in any certain direction. So anyway, yeah, so if you just let me know what questions you have in the future, I can do live feeds on that. But that's it for today. I'm actually almost to my destination, and I got to hop off of here. All right, peace out, everybody.